Welcome to the CFG Game Cast, episode number 155, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers that like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays and stream it on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, Con Freaks and Geeks, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Great question. I think the lights are off in my brain upstairs, like nobody's home, the lights are off, but I'm here. Played some games this week. I got down on some Devour. We're trying to do this like hard mode challenge where you do each map on hard mode, but we only had 2 people yesterday, and though we can easily do it on normal mode with just 2 people, hard mode's a little different, and so the spider lady kept eating my face. And then of course I played Labyrinthine. I am addicted to that game.
You're still playing Labyrinthine?
I
one day we've got to play it
every week. I'm down to play it tonight if you'd like. Adam has
it multiplayer
too. It is.
Yeah.
It's 4 persons. There are the chapters. So there's 5, maybe 6 chapters. There's 5 chapters, and that's where they introduce you to the monsters and a little bit of the storyline. It's still in beta, so it's not full access yet. And you kind of go on these like little maze missions, and it starts off like you're almost like at a carnival, and this is like the cornfield mazes, but it's a forest. And then all of a sudden, like, stuff gets hinky, and you're on this mission and you're being chased by a monster, and your cabins are like your safe spaces. So you can go into the cabin and they will leave. Adam is stuck on chapter 2 because just him and I playing it together, it like blocks you off on purpose. So you have to split up, and it's the mic is ranged. So if they're too far, they can't hear you, but you'll be playing and you're going along, and you drop your little glow sticks so you can find your way back because it's pitch black. You drop your little glow sticks, and each color we've kind of designed to mean something different. Like green means go, blue means safe spot, pink means that's the exit or entrance, and red means that's a dead end. So when you're being chased, don't go that way. You'll get stuck. But it splits us off, and there's not one, but at least I think there's 3 monsters in chapter 2. And one of them, if it hears you talk, it attacks you. We call him, we call him Sweater Man, because when he hears you, he lights up, like all these ruins on his body light up. It's real neat. But he does kind of look like he's wearing a thong because he's got back dimples above his butt. So like I sing him the thong song, and then I get my face eaten off, which is fun. And then the witch is in that one, and then Clubfoot is what he's called. And he looks so neat. I don't know how they dreamed him up, but he's he comes and like throws glitter at your face, pops a champagne bottle, No, he's like split into 2, and he looks like he's becoming a tree. It's real neat. But if you look up, like you're walking down, the maze path, if he's walking towards you and you don't see him right away, and he sees you looking at him, he's going to attack, and you can't run from him. Because he catches up instantly. Some of them you can run from, others you can't. But it's real interesting.
I saw you play. Did you get a chance to play that game that you were wanting to play, Faith?
Yes, Faith Chapter 3. I beat it. I believe there are multiple endings. Hello. But I want to figure out how to do the other endings without like trying to need some help. But it puts me back at a spot where I think from that spot I can get the multiple endings. I think that obviously that would be the purpose. I just haven't figured out yet, because there's always little things like take the gun and shoot the mirror. Who would think of that? I don't know. But in the first game, they had little stuff like that. But this one, you're in an apartment building. And so I literally have a notebook full of like possibilities of how to get the other ones. So I'm going to run through and play that one night, but I need like a good like 8-hour session, I think, to get all the endings. But it was a quick game. Like I beat it pretty fast. The demo was very close to it. And so it was a lot of fun. I had a blast. All my expectations were exceeded. That's all I'm going to say. If you haven't played Faith 1, 2, or 3, oh, they're so good. But yeah, it's out now. Holy Trinity. And when you get the Holy Trinity, even if you've played the base games, the first two, because you got them essentially for free, they now have special modes, so you can go back and play them with the special modes.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Hey, but Lex.
Yeah.
Do you know who was definitely in the room where it happened?
I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
Oh, just shaking and moving, baby. Shaking and moving, baby. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Obviously, we weren't here last week. Again, there was a lot going on, so it was much needed to have that break. We did LAN parties. We were nominated for a Tempest Awards for the Esports Business Summit. We won the award for Best Podcast. So that was huge. Big celebration within that stuff. That was fantastic. Always an honor to be able to be recognized, by your colleagues and friends, and even to be nominated by somebody that is a listener and a supporter was it's such an honor. So that was great. Celebrated. We went Friday to go see Hamilton. I enjoyed it. I loved it again. That was the second time I saw it, except for much better seats. There were some things I was kind of I like the original or the other actor better. But overall, it's an amazing show. And then, of course, we last night as well. That was part of Scorp Kitty's birthday gift. And then we celebrated again last night for her birthday. So the girls are just getting over a bout with RSV. So this was a rough week for Daddy. Myself and the girls for the most part. So just glad that they are feeling better now and got the stuff that they needed. So it's always scary as a parent, especially when you're sitting there and you see your baby, struggling to breathe and stuff like that. It's like, oh my goodness, it is terrible. Yeah, it is terrible. So
that's nightmare fuel.
Yeah. Other than that, you already know what it is, dude. I'm back on that Boy of War. We have started Ragnarok. It's so like, I got that first night. I got like 3 or 4 hours in. I got a couple hours the other day. I haven't been able to get a chance to play, but like, I know like when there's a game that like I'm doing other things, but I'm actually thinking about that game and when I'm going to be able to play it again and continue on, like that to me is always a solid sign that I am going like, it's so far it's been a range of emotions. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is an absolutely gorgeous game. Feels great. I'm really excited to play through and see how everything plays out story wise. Congratulations, big congratulations to Santa Monica. Again, we're going to be doing that spoiler cast as well, so I'm really excited to grind through and for us to jibber jab about it. But all in all, dude, busy week, but it was solid. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for some work projects and stuff like that too. So it's been good, man. What about yourself, dude? I know you've been on that moving grind, son.
Yeah, man. Like, as you can see, I am now in the new house, new location. It's so much better than where I was at before. Loving it so far. There was some small little minor things. I guess the big thing that really kind of got to me, really thing that got me right now was that the movers broke my television.
That sucks.
So then they come back at me. I don't think I told you this, Smitty, but they came back and they're like I was waiting for them to see how much they're going to give me back to compensate for their thing. They're only giving me $150
for my TV. Shut up, dude.
Yeah, and they were saying, okay, you just need to sign this, and this, so you can get your $150. So I came back, I emailed them earlier today, and I was like, I'm not signing this. Y'all are going to be like, I already know what the TV I'm going to get, the replacement TV I'm going to get. I had this television for 3 years, cost me about $2,500. And y'all broke this in 3 hours,
right?
Like in less than 3 hours towards it. So I was really upset, and then and I wasn't expecting them to pay the full value back. I mean, I knew it, so I was being more reasonable. Like, hey, pay half of it.
Wait, they wouldn't pay you the whole? They wouldn't pay you the full value back? Why? Because you don't.
Pay me 100. They're only going to pay me 150 because the way that they're saying it was like, oh, they're going by a weigh scale, which is even funnier to me because they didn't even weigh anything when they moved my stuff. So
weigh scale. What does that even mean?
What it means is that they basically they basically make you like when you come in and you put all your stuff inside, they accumulate the weight of everything that came in that they're carrying as cargo, and then every pound is a certain amount. So in the state of Texas, every pound is 60 cents a pound. So whatever the max amount of weight is, or if anything gets damaged, it's going to be 150 times 60 cents, and then or whatever times 60 cents, and then that's what they're going to pay for the liability.
I'm sorry, I know that this weighs less, but this is way more expensive than half the shit that's in here. So you better get out of my face. That's ridiculous.
I was just thinking to myself,
absurd.
So I'm fighting it back. So I was talking to my sister. My sister's a business lawyer, and then so she's telling me what I should do, and so she's like, okay, just pay. The obvious thing was a paper trail, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I got the receipts, the receipt from my television. I emailed the people. I emailed the quote unquote customer care person that was working on my thing, and to let them know that I'm not going to sign their document for the deal, and what I'm expecting from them to do for me. So then once they get that back, I am also filling something out to the Better Business Bureau on it. So so any folks who wants to look at a move and wants to go check out All My Sons, yeah, they're kind of garbage right now.
It's a trap.
Exactly. So because of this, I'm not able to play God of War the way I wanted to play it on my nice television, relaxing in my on my couch. Instead, I'm playing it inside the stream room or on my computer. And I mean, it's not as bad, but it's still. I mean, I'm playing long sessions of this game because this game is like crack. I mean, this game is very, very, like, you can lose track of time on this immediately. And I like to play like the side stories and all this stuff. So I'm always exploring in this game. So I've been having a fun time doing that. So, and then also, unboxing a lot of stuff. So, but it's, for the most part, that's what I've been working on, and, hopefully, finish this sucker up. I can't wait to discuss God of War with you, Smitty. That's gonna be fun too. So and I also kind of can't wait till the end of the game of the year conversations that we have in December though too, because this is definitely, I mean, it's not gonna be a secret, this is definitely on the list. I mean, this I mean, this year really kind of hasn't really been, like, well, fulfilled, let's say, for the most part.
It was supposed to be originally, but a bunch of things got pushed back to 2023. So, you know what I mean? Hot 2022 turned into hot 2023. Prepare your wallets now, because if they are on track and they release like they plan on for 2023, there's going to be so much and so many games out next year. Good, solid games. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of looking forward to see what y'all's picks of this year is going to be, because I think it's going to be very. I mean, I think there's going to be overlap. I personally think there's going to be overlap from what we played, but I still think there might be a little bit more outside diversity than what than what one would expect. So, but we'll see. We'll definitely go with it. But folks, I know you don't want to talk about me, listen to me bitch about my moving troubles, but let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion in the world of video games each and every week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry itself from the previous week, and we do not want to discuss this by ourselves. We want you, the viewers and listeners on twitch.tv/CFG Games, to be a part of the conversation. So by all means, if it's something you're wanting to add on what we talk about, just type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it with you, the viewers, and talk it out and see and just see and go from there. So let's get this party started. Lex, what are you bringing to the table?
Me first, finally. Holy moly. Well, interesting reports coming out of Russia. They are reportedly banning a lot of games. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, that kind of makes sense. But why? Oh, let me tell you. So, anything that has, and I quote unquote, LGBT propaganda, so, non traditional relationships, they've attached a list of games which include popular titles such as Apex Legends, Life is Strange, The Last of Us, Sims 3, Assassin's Creed, Borderlands, Divinity Original Sin 2, Dragon's Age, Fallout, Overwatch, Le Creme du Parking, Le Crime, sorry. There's a lot on this list. So, unfortunately, the account didn't provide further detail. This was coming from Apex Legends themselves. They tweeted it. So they didn't provide any further details, but this looks a lot like the China ban, but more strict. Um, so it's interesting that they're censoring this. Now, here's the kicker. So it didn't just cover games, it covered books, films, advertising, online content, and citizens who are found guilty will be fined or could be fined up to 400,000 rubles, which for us gremlins over here in the US, that's about $6,500, while foreigners would be deported from Russia. Um, it's that's pretty crazy. So obviously this is very homophobic. Not all families look the same, obviously we know that. And you know, I expected it, but I also didn't expect it for this to be the reason. um you know, I know that there is a lot of propaganda being pushed onto their televisions at the moment. To the general public, but I didn't think it would go to this extent. But I was curious what you guys thought.
Well, I mean, I don't have to say that that it's bullshit. Like, you know, that this is something that or is to be expected, or the homophobia is running strong over there in Russia. So I'm not going to say anything about that. I just think overall, like, I just more questions. I just have more questions about it, because it's kind of weird that they, like, this is something that's been like that has been perfectly fine for, like, in gaming, especially in Russia. Even Russia has been is a very strict place to do all these gaming, like, you know, to send games out there. But, like, what was it that broke the dam that decided we're going to shut everything down? You know, like, we're going to shut
Yeah.
LBGT completely down, and we're not going to do this. It's like, is this like an escape of what's currently happening in their climate right now, or like what was it that changed that for them to go full 180 and just decide, okay, we're going to 86 anything related to LBGTQ, like that kind of situation, because that is very extreme. Like it's a very extreme move, because far be it from me, it's like to play, like you were saying, the list of games is so diverse. Like, Life is Strange to, like, from Life is Strange to being a major part of, like, of the character's identity, to Apex Legends, where they're just saying this person is what is a transgender, or whatever, due to the lore of it. Overwatch, same thing. The whole simple thing. It's not like the game is about about their sexuality
Gay. Yeah.
whatsoever, but rather they decided to just say anything that's LBGTQ related or has touched the words LBGTQ inside it, it's going to be banned. It's like, what the hell happened? Is what I wanted to know.
What's interesting is some of these games don't necessarily have an LGBTQ behind it, but like maybe they have a non-binary character, or somebody who's pansexual, but like they don't even touch upon that necessarily in the game itself. It's just known, which I think is silly. And you know, again, like they do have a lot of propaganda that is being shown to them at the moment. What I find interesting, and you kind of touch upon it, they have an Overwatch League. They have an Overwatch League. So are they going to deport all their players? I mean, Are they living
Wait,
in
they have
Russia
a
currently?
team?
I was pretty sure that Russia was getting an Overwatch team if they didn't already have one.
I was like, I don't know about them currently having one.
They could be on the B squad. Hold on, I can check it. Hold on.
Or
I'm not saying we don't
like
believe.
No, you're fine. Double check because maybe
like
I'm
a prep
thinking of a
league
different
type thing or
team.
something like that. Well, I mean, the
Yeah,
biggest
might
thing
be.
though,
Even
because like
think
I
about
think if
it.
you have the money, like that's the way I always assumed that
It's a
it
lot
went.
of
It's like if
money.
you
Yeah,
have
it's
the
a lot of
money that you basically can just buy your way in.
Right.
I haven't seen anything about a Russian
I
squad.
thought they had a league. Maybe I'm thinking because
Or-
China has a league, but like also China, they have a lot of strict bans, but they let their players obviously play the game.
Russia
And
Russia does have a league. They're called Liquipedia.
that's right. Thank you. Because
Liquidpedia?
yeah, like Pedialyte. I don't know. And that's every time I see their name,
Sounds
that's what I
disgusting.
think. I'm like Pedialyte.
And you said this is an so like this is an internal Overwatch league that they have.
It's
Interesting.
a team.
It's a
Is
team.
a team or a
So
what do they compete in?
Hold on, let me see. I'm sorry. Continue on. I'll look into it more.
No,
Yeah.
but it's interesting. Like you're going to because somebody is non-binary in a game, you're gonna ban them. I mean, they might as well get rid of Stray. He doesn't have a butthole. You know, like that's how ridiculous this sounds to me. You know what I mean? And if doing their goal in doing this is what it now this is an opinion. What it seems to be is because the government hasn't stated why. But they're just pushing the agenda that these themes will not be shown, and it's a suppression of free speech and promoting homophobia among their citizens. So in all reality, if you think about it from that standpoint, it's going to cause more discourse. um it's kind of like how here right now we have like the extreme rights and the magas. It feels kind of like that. um Again, this is an opinion. There is no responses from them at the moment, but
Mhm.
Apex Legends was notified that they would not be published in Russia any longer, and that's how this came out. So
Okay.
Apex Legends was the one that broke this story.
Okay, so this is what's happened. Okay, so they had an Overwatch league. It looks like the last time they had the league was in 2019. That's what it looks like. And then it was, I don't know what happened the last 3 years, maybe because I don't know if Overwatch League was happening during the
pandemic
season.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then I guess coming back, but so they had one. They may not have one anymore, but who knows?
Well,
Who
and I
knows what's
think
going on?
the reason that I remembered that is because they had a girl that was in Russia who was amazing, and she was
Mhm.
trying to get on the league. They didn't let her on, and she was better
Not
than like
surprising.
3 out of their their 5 players. Like she was better
Mhm.
than them. And like her stats were fantastic. Like not just the main character that she played, but she could play she play healer, support, damage, and she was good at all of them, and her numbers were beating out the players that were on the team. And so it was kind
Yeah.
of a thing I remember
So
at the time. And she doesn't look like your typical like Russian doll kind of gal.
well, I mean, I mean, overall though, it just seems like I said, it still seems like it's so stretched. And you know what? This is actually to a point. Like, dude, they've been
Yeah.
playing games like this. I can understand if this was something that they were struggling with for a long period of time, but it feels like this is cruel, just in general, cruel, just to be cruel. Because it doesn't make like this is
I
the last
agree.
time that they did on the with specifically on Overwatch, the earliest thing on the Overwatch World Cup. They were a part of the Overwatch World Cup when it first initially started, all the way back to 2016, and yet now it's like what are they talking about? Like what is it that they're trying to show for to being putting the ban hammer this much on just this kind of stuff? Because come on, dude, it's like that's just freaking like the justification of this doesn't make any lick of sense to me whatsoever. That's where it comes out.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, Smitty?
So number one, I think this definitely seems like a ploy to detract from the war that is going
Ukraine.
terribly on their side with Ukraine. It's very I guess hypocritical, I guess, because their whole reasoning for going in there was because of Nazi sympathizers, and then to come around and say, but wait a second, anything having to do with this or that, vote kids, we can't have this, is a complete hypocrisy in itself. So this is what I feel bad for the folks that are over there. It is not safe for you to openly be out over there, any of that stuff, because obviously there are people that believe that, but again, it seems like they're being fed this anyway throughout. So those are generational things that are hard to break. They don't change overnight. However, the climate, I feel, is changing over there. I feel like Putin doesn't have as much as a hold, and these are moves where he's gonna do this stuff, and to try to reestablish, like, hey, it's still me, and this is what we believe in, and this and that. But like everywhere else, if you can't move on with the times, everybody has their time. If you can't move on with the times and adapt to the times, to the people, you will get left behind. You will get strung up. You will get got. That's just how it plays out.
I'm just thinking to myself, is like, if you're really wanting to be like this to Russia, it's like, hey, let's play God of War 3. Oh, I'm sorry, Kratos defines himself as a homosexual. It's like, that's not even part of the story. But no, he's gay. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna have to ban from Russia because
and you're right. The same analogy, that you put forth there, Lex, with those super weird conservative things trying to ban books and this and that. It's like, the thing that they don't realize too is that it's a two-way street, and until you realize how it directly affects you, because it affects everybody in some way or the other, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, that's when shit changes and whatnot. That's how you know it's just a bunch of fake people trying to appease what they think the thing is. Except for obviously in Russia, these people are fed this on the daily. That is the life that they lived, and they've seen some people benefits to like communism and stuff like that. But I think the mindset and the availability that the internet brings, that other people can see, has opened the world's mind and the people around the world.
It's freaking weird
because it's old people trying to hang on to old ways.
Well, yeah, I definitely understand that, but like, I'm saying that this stuff has been established there, even though, despite the fact that, yes, you're right, there is there's been high by the government definitely is not a part of that LGBTQ life, and it never has been. But for gaming wise, it's been there forever.
Yes,
like it's been there for a long period of time, and then
everybody needs a boogeyman
to just say, red light, we're gonna red light this shit, and just say we're gonna just stop all of it.
Yeah, because
y'all trying to prove on the
think about it from the government standpoint. They are trying to create civil unrest amongst the people.
They already did with Ukraine.
I was gonna say,
I agree. But amongst the Russians that are still in the country, that's creating civil unrest. Just like we had the January 6th event here, a lot of us sat back and just thought, what are these idiots doing, right? But they're dividing their people in half by doing this, because there's either hardcore people that are like, absolutely not, no LGBTQ, it's propaganda, we agree. And then there's the people who are either part of that or support, and they're allies of that. And they're saying, wait a minute. Why now? What are you doing? And I think that's so that they can pick off the people and they can create their own little, that just an opinion, but from a government standpoint during war times, that's what this seems like. Because remember, history always repeats itself, doesn't it?
I find it that they're going out of their way from the war cycle to do something like this is just weird. It's just like,
to me, it is a distraction for the fact that they are not being as successful. It is to cool off some of the warthogs. Maybe even be able to go and be like, you know what? Let's bring in Ukraine or those folks, and let's start talking about peace again, or what this looks like and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because they need something to distract from them getting their asses kicked, and that's what's happening over there. And hey, no better way than to find a new villain, a new boogeyman. There's enough people that had at least that kind of ideology, I think, to then be able to say, hey, out of the blue, we're banning all this stuff. It's no longer going to be accessible starting today. That to me just seems like a distraction from a much bigger problem. And I think it's inevitable. I think it is inevitable.
Terrifying.
I'm
a terrifying boogeyman.
Well, I mean, again, and you don't even know what kind of, like, for moves of desperation like this, I feel, again, opinion that clearly there is things afoot, and the fact that there are people that are openly speaking against that's how you get got. That's how you get disappeared in Russia. You don't just openly say shit. You know what I'm saying? The state, they run everything.
You
So
magically vanish in the night.
right. So the fact that we are seeing more resistance and we are seeing more people, I think the time is coming where obviously this is something he's trying to appease a base, essentially, is how I take it. But that base is not nearly as big or prominent as they think. And people are very keen to the atrocities that are happening over there, and I think there's a lot of people that are opposing that stuff. This to me seems like a distraction.
Yeah, that makes sense. With the climate and video games, no video games, honestly, like, it looks like we're on the cusp of a revolution because people aren't tolerating intolerance anymore. And, it's just like when I read that, I'm like, they're starting more civil unrest. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you're losing the war, wouldn't now be the time to, like, band your people together to have a better military coverage? No? Okay.
I find it very interesting.
know?
I just find it very interesting of all the people that to let people be aware that that's what's happening. It's a company. It's EA is the one that's
Right.
that did it with Apex Legends. It's
Well,
crazy
EA is like,
to me.
look, dude, we're trying to get our money. So
Right.
you guys see this shit that they're going on over in Russia? Take a peep at
Right.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
EA, I don't believe that EA gives a shit either. As long as they're getting their
Nah.
ducats and they are lining them pockets. But that is definitely a
That's their
source of
atrocity.
revenue that would be getting cut.
they
So
definitely lost the buckets on that. You're definitely right.
absolutely,
Well,
absolutely.
They're still holding Brittany prisoner over there right now. She
Yeah.
is.
She is. It's a wrap. It
Well,
is a
that's
wrap
a
for
whole-
her, dude.
They're
That
using
is a
her as
whole
a
thing in
bargaining
itself.
chip.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
of course they are. But then again, though, too, that it's a little bit her fault, though, too. Come on, like
I can
like,
tell you the
you're
one
in
place that I wouldn't go.
Accidents
There's a
happen.
couple places I wouldn't go seeking any
So
of that
would
or
we-
any of that.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
Russia is definitely
Russia.
very high on that list. Like, you don't
No,
slip
wanna
up.
be
You
your
got to
best-
play by
you
their
wanna
rules.
be your best behavior. Yeah, you want to be in your best behaviors in those places like that, because some of those places don't take that shit. Like, I mean, like,
Nope.
like if you go to Taiwan is probably one of the crazy places too. Like, you don't want to bring like marijuana and
Philippines.
stuff there too, because Philippines
Mhm.
to be doing that, because you're risking it, severely risking it, that
Mhm.
what they could do to throw the book at you. That's exactly what happened
Oh
with Griner.
God, there's a movie
But,
about
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
So-
You are basically a
Tried to
bargaining
slit
chip.
something in her leg. Yeah.
And yeah.
Now you got now they
Vista.
got leverage to the U.S. trying to do a prisoner trade, and then you can
Mhm.
play whatever hardball you want, because
I don't bring enough to the United States for them to give a shit.
Yeah. So
They were like, good
I mean-
luck.
Yeah,
I mean,
rumor
it's-
is
don't get me
redheads are
wrong.
going to be banned next too. Just
Oh God, who knows, man? Like, it's ridiculous, but yeah, it's a bullshit ban and it's terrible. We know that it's bad, but I mean, it's not surprising, but we gotta go and see where that's gonna go until hopefully things do change over there. But we'll go with that. Ban
Yeah,
the
we'll see
gingers.
how it's spicy over there for sure.
Yeah. Smitty, what's your topic?
Yeah, so I wanted to, and I know we've talked about this a little bit beforehand, especially around TwitchCon, but that's when they announced that a thing called guest stars was going to be coming to Twitch. That has officially been released to both affiliates and partners, but that is a way for us to be able to bring people in natively into our stream, whether it's pre-planned or you're doing something where you're bringing guests on and stuff like that. And I really think, again, I really haven't had time to dig into the possibilities and what you can do with it. But if it works like many other things like that work, and they seem to make it so where it's kind of seamless, you can do it straight from your creator dashboard. We're going to go through it here in a second. I just want to talk about real quick. Pros wise, I think this could be huge, especially with this being native. Obviously, you have to have something broadcasting software like OBS, vMix, something like that to be able to take the source in and push that stuff out. But I'm guessing with it being native, the quality will be a lot better. One of the cons to me, which might be a trouble, is the fact that you have to authenticate your phone number with them. And I don't know that you can just, somebody that's actively on Twitch, they either already have that shit on authenticated, or they would be willing to if they really wanted to get on the show. Or obviously we know about trolls, and they'll go through many hoops to try to troll people. The good thing is that this does have guest rooms, or green rooms, I'm sorry, that you can then pre-screen. You can have your moderators go in and pre-screen these people to make sure they're not acting a fool or they're not going to come on. This thing's actually pretty solid. I just want to pull up right now as we go through the steps, because I have not set this up on stream, but you guys can see. Let me bigify this real quick. Guest star makes it easy to invite, prep, and go live with guests on your stream. Import guest slots as browser sources in OBS. You only need to set them once. That's pretty nice. That means like a static address. If you were to have a ongoing or a recurring show, that source wouldn't change. So that's fantastic. Host up to 5 guests at the same time. I can tell you, I have vMix, and vMix costed like what, $700-800 for a license for that, and I can only get 4 guests in. So even that, and for something that's free, that's pretty nice. It's kind of a weird number though. Well, no, I guess not, because then it evens out. 5, not including yourself, you would make 6. So that's pretty, you can have a decent amount. You could run a lot of stuff being able to bring in that many guests. And easily swap out guests in and out of your stream. Invite your community to guest star. Guest stars can join easily from a web browser. So all you need is a web browser. I saw within the tech specs that they suggest Chrome. Chrome, I know, works well with vMix as well. So I always, anytime that there's something like it's like browser based like that, I will suggest Chrome to people. So that's nice. Like I said, the con, I think that will be the hard sell is any phone verified Twitch user can be a guest. So you have to be phone verified through Twitch in order to be able to guest. This is, I feel like this is kind of a double-edged sword. Obviously, on the security side, that's huge. You can then tie a person to a phone number, of course, unless they have like a burner phone or something like that. But that's a lot of steps you got to take to go about doing that. So for the most part, you know that a person can at least be tied to some sort of communication. A microphone obviously is required, and then you don't even have to have a camera. It could just be your audio as well. So you don't even need a damn camera to be able to run guest stars, pull people in. So and that already makes me start thinking about, you remember the like radio shows where you had like guest callers come in, or you can run a podcast where people call in and ask questions or whatever. So you could do, in a sense, right there a lot in terms of that.
It sounds pretty meaty. I just like I said, I just never really, I really want to try figuring it out. Would be great, but it's pretty like I felt it's been pretty, the steps and stuff are not very detailed, but very there's a lot of different kinds of steps to get it set up, and I think that's. Yeah, and that's on the good thing about that though is that is on the, essentially that'd be on the host side, the producer side of things.
if you're just being a guest, I'm pretty sure, like, and I don't, and that's where I guess I need to figure out how that works exactly. It's like, let's say somebody's in chat here. Here's Donk. How would I go about sending him like, hey, come on the show real quick, and do some shit or whatever. Why is this showing this? This is interesting. But yeah, so you just set that stuff up, set up your own things and whatnot, I guess. Or you can use a virtual camera too. So I could just pull in, let's say, I mean, there's so many different practical uses for this. I could literally run a broadcast style thing by pulling in a virtual camera. Let's say the virtual camera is targeted at a source's output. Then I could pull in a whole separate show that is one source. That would be one source. So there are a ton of uses. If you are a streamer, or if you're listening, if you've thought about it, if you have show ideas and things like this, I think that it can be huge as a source to be able to use. You're already using Twitch. It's integrated directly into your dashboard. I like when they said this was like, this essentially is squad streams on steroids. This is what I feel like squad streams then has evolved into.
Well, that's pretty interesting. Like, to be everything to be in one source like that does sound awesome. I guess the real thing is, like, let's say you're wanting to split, like remember the big issue I was having was I wanting to split individual audio sources. So I wanting to go like, so each person's channel would have to be in the individual audio port. Audio well, you know what, when I think about it, I think Electron should be able to work that the same exact way.
I don't even know that you would necessarily need Electron, because essentially, so we've gotten to the part where I said 5 guests. This says copy slot 1 browser source URL. My guess would be then that you can have OBS control the audio, which would then break it into its own individual.
And split it.
Exactly. Yep.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
You showed that to me before. So yeah, okay. That sounds good. So make its own separate individual signals. Okay, that would be pretty. Yeah, that would be pretty tight at that point. So yeah, I mean, it sounds awesome. Like, but what, like, I'll have you figure it all out. I'm already burnt out. I'll try to figure it all out.
I absolutely plan on,
but nobody's home.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, you know what? It's like I look at it. I was like I literally looked at it. It's like, hey, that's a cool idea. I quit. I didn't want to try. I quit.
Yeah,
I
have a lot of friends that do that, and they're like, Lex, how do you do that one thing? I know you sent me a YouTube video, but I'm not comprehending. And like, here's a second YouTube.
So
video.
look, we could even, I mean, invite guests to star in your stream. So, and there was even a request thing. So you have favorites, recents, followers.
Oh wow!
And what is it pulling this? Oh, this is pulling directly from Twitch. So I can directly go in, or directly from subscribers.
Yeah.
Or you could just search somebody out, and then they would send an invite. The person would then populate in whichever slot. You would take and copy the browser source and essentially make a scene then that would accommodate all that stuff, and then you could turn that stuff on and off. Yeah, exactly. Like, to me, this is huge, and we definitely need to try this out. Or you can go in, introducing requests, phone verify, blah, 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 blah. Select which guest will appear with you. Optionally limit requests to audio-only appearances. Easily swap guests in and out. So people can even, request to come on this. This is huge.
Here's my thought. Let's say you're playing a bunch of games with other streamers, and you want to do this. If they're live, unless they have 2 cameras, they wouldn't be able to have a feed on their own channel plus the feed on the other person's channel, correct?
Hold on. What do you you might have to repeat that to me real quick.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sorry.
So let's say you and I, Smitty, we're both streaming, but we're going to do the guest spots so that we are visibly seen on both of each other's channels. You would have to then have 2 cameras, correct? One that is going live to your stream through your own OBS, and then the other one, ooh, that's bright, to the URL that is then being posted in your section, correct?
I think you can. I don't know if you have to. Because you know how
Okay.
sometimes, like, I can, like, for
Yeah,
instance,
like you shouldn't.
yeah, like
I'm
my
sorry.
Logitech, I can have it as my camera for Snapchat or Snapcan or whatever, but I also can still
Yeah.
see it as and run it as its own individual source in OBS.
Correct.
I think it's
Okay.
all based on the permissions, and it would just be us going in and testing out how that works exactly.
I'm intrigued. I like the idea, especially, if you're playing like a tournament with friends on your channel and two streamers are hosting. So that way those feeds are then duplicated on each other's channels, right? But also you can bring in your moderators or have like a mod night. That'd be fantastic. And you can play games with your moderators. People can see them and meet them who have been in your community for a long time. I think there's a lot of really good resources for this. And I think this is fantastic. I like the idea. I think it's funny that it took them so long for it to come out. Um, I'm intrigued. I want to try this. As a female streamer, though, I'm a little nervous. It'll have to absolutely be only people that I know on a
Yeah.
personal level, not just through gaming,
Mm-hmm.
because you never know. People get weird. You can be friends with somebody that you met through a game and be friends for years, and then out of nowhere, they're like, "Hey, girl, send me a pic," and you're like, "Wait a minute, I thought we were buddies. What is this?" So just people can act silly and ridiculous at the drop of a hat. So for us ladies, please be careful out there. Men too, obviously, but I like the idea. I think it's great that they're going through so many hoops to verify the people.
Well, I think
Because
that, like,
as a
yeah,
streamer, that keeps you safe. Again, trolls will be trolls, right? But
yeah.
I like it. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Well,
I
and
mean,
well, real quick though, just speaking on that too, I think Twitch has thought of that as well because you can very easily and efficiently, not only you but your moderators can kill somebody's feed. And they stated that somebody else acting a fool will not count against you as a streamer.
Oh, thank
would
goodness.
Yes.
it count on them?
It would count on them. Yes.
They stand up,
Good.
they wearing underwear and pants. No thanks.
Well, I mean, like, I think that the whole thing is looks like very promising to go into. And so I guess the real thing is, like, I really need to see more people. I don't think I've seen a lot of people use it, and I haven't seen a lot of people advertise, but it definitely has some sort of level of promise that does keep me interested. I just need to know how to get it all to work the way I like in my mind to work. This seems like it would be this is a perfect podcast material to be honest, to do instead of having separate crazy browsers and stuff like that, or how we do it currently right now with OBS or with the OBS Studio or Video Ninja, which is, I'm not saying Video Ninja is great in my opinion. I think it's a really good tool, but it'd be better if the quality is still the same, if not better, with inside of the Twitch program. I mean, I have nothing to lose.
See, and this is where I thrive. They're like, here is a puzzle for you to figure out, Lex. And I'm like, hold my beer. Let's go. I love figuring stuff like this out. I will watch like 16 YouTube videos to figure out how to move sources and do this and that and all that, then the other. I've spent hours upon hours, hundreds of
I'm
research.
just tired.
Dude,
I'm tired.
I know. We're at the end of the year. There's so many people that are like, this looks so cool, but I have no energy to shower. I don't have energy to set this up. I'm like,
see, now, dude,
it.
I would set that shit up because there's endless possibilities in terms of the production values of things with move transitions. You can bigify things. Like, you can get full on legit broadcast quality streams, especially folks that are remotely, more importantly, to be able to do that stuff. It would take some work on the back end, but like once you get that shit, dude, like this is going to be huge. The fact that you can resize them, the fact that they are their own individual source and not just one source that you cropped into 3 different sources is huge. This to me is huge. I can't wait to dive in and do some testing because I feel like there's a lot that you can do with this. And just looking at this video, for those, I'll describe to those that are listening. It basically
makes it easy.
Well, it basically does what we do with Video Ninja, as far as like it all of a sudden, like once you open up OBS, all of a sudden my camera gets all crazy like this and whatnot. So I'm wondering how that works, but I mean, again, you could just use possibly a virtual camera that's pointed directly at a source or something like that. I have to do some digging to see if that's actually a possibility.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Yep.
I mean, like, we'll definitely see what's going on.
I just had a cute idea. So, like, if a bunch of your friends have really adorable animals, you could do an animal cam night, and everybody just points their cameras at their animals. Oh, how fun and delightfully adorable! That's all. It was a cute idea.
Yeah,
Licorice should be all over the place.
Well, you lock them in the room and just zoom out.
Licorice needs to have the camera that randomly zooms in on your face and then just goes and watch it zoom in and eat.
Power zoom.
Eat some wires like Licorice likes to do.
Oh my
like the camera directs the show, y'all. That's the niche. The camera directs the show.
Opie walks right up to the camera and she'll like look at it with her eye, like who's in this chat right now?
She's looking right now.
Oh yeah, see, she's like, animal cam. I'm here.
I love that.
Smitty's camera roll is Jesus take the wheel. That's what that's basically Smitty's role for camera taking on this podcast. Just zoom random power shot.
I would say if you're into streaming, or you don't even have to be using this as a tool to pre-record stuff too, it would work. I feel like I don't know how that works, but I feel like it would work the same. You don't have to be live. I don't believe. Don't quote me on this. I'll have to double check with our testing. But it seems like you don't necessarily have to be live in order to generate those links. So you should be able to pull those people in and do that stuff on some pre-recorded content as well, which is huge. It's a freaking free.
You could just save it.
Yeah.
We'll just mess around. Like I said, mess around with it. Let me know what you see, and then see if it's a viable thing. Because if it is, then it's even better with it.
Let's say like it's a weekly, monthly thing, or like a special thing for your subscribers that after so many months of subscribing, they can be a guest on your channel if that's what they so choose. You could have like a whole spreadsheet of just like General Davis. Here's his code. The Indust.
Right.
Here's his code. Here's Lex's. That way, when you do have to swap them out, you can just go and grab them easily and then replace them where you need to. And the sizing should be saved at that point. So if you've already pre-sized them, bada bing, bada boom, there you go, baby.
Yeah, because if you look at this is based off of. So my guess would be that each slot has its own static URL. So you can rotate people. Those slots those URLs should never change. So essentially you would have those. How I would build it, how I plan on building it, is each one of those sources would be its own scene. And then I would embed those scenes into other scenes to then be able to overlay that stuff over main stuff and whatnot. Yeah.
That's what I was seeking.
I already got it worked out, baby. Yeah.
Davis is like,
y'all already got the wheels
I turned
spinning.
the lights off and I left the building.
Exactly.
Like,
no, that's fine. Until y'all do the hard work, then you let me know. Then I'm all in.
It's not even hard. I could literally copy this, paste it in chat, have somebody go in, and have them up on stream probably in 5 minutes, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
all I need to do is add that browser source to OBS.
You're forgetting the Pandora box factor.
No, this is pretty cut and dry, and there might be something weird because we've never used it, but like this seems pretty cut and dry in terms of each slot generates its own URL. You take that URL, create a browser source in OBS, and then paste that in there. That is your camera. That should not only be the individual camera, but that should be the individual audio as well. Because then you can set that in OBS. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
this should be solid.
Don't hide the audio so that you can see it when you record it and go back in later. Yeah.
And you can go in. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm mathing with what you're mathing. I got it.
Okay.
You are very late, sir. It's good to see you, Zuzu.
He's like, they're talking about calculus and I am in geometry class. I get it.
I'm already burnt, man. Like, I'm already done. I'm just like, you know what? I like the idea. All I know is like, hey, it's something to mess around with, but I just like, I need to be motivated to go and just sit down and mess around and see if
Give me an Adderall and I got it.
Don't worry, I'll hit you up. I'll set it. I will set it up. I plan on using guest stars.
When you think about it, like it's like for instance, we were messing with video. We messed with video this year. Actually, was when we switched over to video, and then like at the same time, I mean, like trying to figure all that out, trying to figure out how to use my DAW system which wasn't working the way I wanted it to, so I had to back that out. Cancel our original way we were recording for the podcast completely and figure out a new way of doing it.
Our audio.
Yeah, change the audio. I mean, I'm like, it's just a lot of different things on the back end. I'm just like, you know what?
I got a new mic.
I'm just setting my foot down. I'm not doing this.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm good.
Look,
That's
hey,
what it is.
Davis, we're at the end of the year, buddy. You don't have to do nothing if you don't want to.
That's right. That's right.
Kick back, relax. Smitty and I will take care of this.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm about ready to get in chill back
Even
mode
better.
too. Just ride the rest of the year out.
Even better,
Right?
I just thought about
coasting.
it.
Exactly.
You save the scenes. You could even send me the scenes. That way, if one of you guys are out and I'm having to run the stream on my end, I have the scenes. I can save them, import them. Bada bing, bada boom. I've got it on my.
You would just set that up. You would just set that up as a separate profile. Like I literally have like a separate CFG profile. That's just my just CFG stuff.
When I would stream on the Phenom channel, that's that. Yep.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I've got those scenes saved for when she comes back, baby. I'm ready.
Well, yeah, that's great. Well, Smitty, we are closing out with my topic of the week, and this one is surprisingly will go back is going to be something that EA has a lot of balls of doing, and I kind of want to see where this is going to go, which is very interesting. So EA has decided to go full digital only instead of doing physical copies in certain countries. So right now, so far they're testing it out in only German speaking countries. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland so far. So from now on, EA is not making physical copies for any other games to Germany. The only way you're going to buy is by download. So from the report that I have here from I think it was PSLS, I forgot what it's called, PlayStation's online lifestyle. That's what it was.
Oh yeah.
So EA has announced that they will no longer be distributing physical games in Germany speaking countries, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, instead moving to a digital only model for those markets. The move comes amidst falling revenue from sales of physical games, but the move is still expected to cause a significant decline in sales for this financial year. So what this is really kind of telling me is that they're it's these countries right now, but if they see a lot more success, because you know it's going to end up being, which it probably will, because more people are buying digitally, now clearly physically, if they're going to make a decision like this, if physical copies going to slowly will slowly be phasing out in a bigger scale, you know what I'm saying? Because like now, because in the country, like right now, the big gaming country, the big countries right now for gaming is Europe, and if this is ground zero, is Germany. Like Germany and these places they're shutting down. If they're testing it in one of these kind of places now, it could slowly. I mean, we could probably slowly see maybe some minor things, like maybe some B-rated games, not necessarily AAA titles, but rather smaller titles under these developers to decide we're just going to do just digital for these games and stuff like that. So I'm wondering, like, what y'all like, is this something that y'all should worry about? Is it something that people should be worried about, or is this like, do you think this is a cool thing that EA is doing? Like, what y'all's take on this?
You did misspeak. You said that they would be getting rid of digital copies, and what he meant to say was they would be getting rid of physical copies and moving towards digital. I just wanted to clarify. I think, and it's funny because this reminds me of like the Marie Kondo movement, where everyone was getting rid of things that no longer brought them joy, and decluttering their homes. I think a lot of other countries outside of the US don't hold on to physical copies like we do here as like a collector's item. And I think some of those items, throughout the years, people who were collectors have realized that, the things I was collecting, such as like Beanie Babies, they didn't actually end up amounting to much. And that was a waste of maybe my time. And I could have been doing and using that money towards something else. So I think we're moving into an age where it is going to be the digital options. Now, I like the physical copies for certain games that I'm really passionate about, But in all reality, if I can get the digital copy, I usually will do that instead. The only time that I like to have physical copies on hand is for my handhelds. I don't know what it is, but it sparks like excitement for me, like putting in that game physically. I don't know, it gives me like old Game Boy vibes from when I was a kid and it makes me giddy. I don't know. I don't know why. I can't explain it. That's just how it makes me feel. But I think in a lot of other countries, they have smaller living spaces per square feet. They don't have a lot of room for these things to collect. And I think it's come down to that works for the physical copies of games as well, right?
I don't
Because
really, yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying on your point on that, but like, I just think that, like the reason why I like, well, first off, I like physical copies because I don't trust, like if it's a rainy day and the network is down and you don't have the game available that you have to download, you don't have to like depend on the internet to go and download it. You have it physically in the spot. Well, for most games, some games are just is just a DRM that's going to allow you to install and things nowadays. However, the only reason why I am not on board with digital copies is because it's expensive. because like let's say that you buy Madden, let's say you buy, like, for instance, a game that you get every year, Madden, FIFA, a sports fan or whatever, at $60-$70 from the retail price, knowing that game in about 5 or 6 months is going to reduce down to like to pennies to the dollar on the physical side.
that's understandable.
The digital side is still
Continues to
up
stay the
as a
same.
solid at about $50 to $60-$70 for the same kind of game for it. So like that is one of the main reasons, is that digital copies of games are not cheap. And I'm not a bit like in certain situations, and you already know me. Smitty definitely knows me. I don't buy. I am very rare. It's very rare for me to buy at full price, like full price on the stuff. Physical copies don't have that problem. Physical copies, you like they want to get rid of it. You go to a game store back in the days and then just get a used game for like a fraction of like a legitimate fraction of the price and stuff. But like for Europe and stuff, that might be the case. But but I think for the most part, I just think society, like in general, is leaning towards digital because how easy it is just to do it. Like, because now we're at now we're at a time where people have a choice, saying we can either go to the store or we could get someone to Uber or Uber it to our front doors and stuff, that kind of situation.
Well, here's the thing too, and they make a really great point in chat. Donk Show says, I think it's great to stop filling up landfills because you want a shelf full of DVDs, and that can also go for games as well. He said, after I typed that, I realized that sounded like an attack to collectors. It's not meant to be. And Dust said, yeah, I mean, why are we endorsing a hoarding mentality? And I understand that. And I think that if we do move to digital, they're going to have to make some changes with how AAA games are sold after 6 months, if there's going to be a sale on them and when, and not just for Black Friday and things like that. And that is my piece. I will let Smitty talk. He looks like he's eager. I'll shut up.
I am inevitable. It does not matter. We are going digital whether you like it or not. I have been on board with digital for quite some time. There's not very many physical games that I have. And I get it. Some people like collecting that stuff. I don't care. As long as I can play the dumbass game, that's all I really care about. And for me, personally, yes, I understand single player games, whatever. But a lot of games, whether they still have some sort of online component, whether it be for pushing things or whatnot. So you're getting it whether you physically have the disc or not. You still got to go through those barriers. So to me, it's like, I don't need that extra clutter. Yeah, it's great, but for me, it's not a matter of having that stuff. And I know that there's, some things like having collector's editions, things like that. Absolutely, make it it's a finite number. People get those. They're rare. I totally get that. For us regular muggles, nah, son. I don't need it. I don't need it. I got books. I got other things that are just taking up shelves. I don't need something physically.
I'm personally fine. Like I said, I'm personally fine with anyone wanting to buy physical or digital itself. Because people, we all know the person's life or what the person's wanting or care for. I mean, I already know you, Smitty. You're Mr. FOMO with all the digital copies of games.
I'm not. I've gotten so much better. I've gotten so much better. Recognize it.
He has.
Really?
He has. I can confirm.
He says, really?
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Clearly, you don't listen to the words that I say in my buying trends. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And you get it.
But I haven't, though. I mean, I have in some respect to some things, but there's a lot of things too that I have a lot more restraint. Cause I know you don't like to believe it, but I learned stuff from you too, Davis. You know what I mean? So, and just your frugalness. Like I like to call him Davis the frugal games.
the frugal game.
So I've learned things too, but digital is inevitable. Easier to deliver to folks. You can reach way more people. You're cutting down on costs of physically creating the thing and whatnot. Digital is going to be inevitable. EA is trying to get ahead because right now, you're right, dude. There's not a lot that they have going other than the sports things. And really, it's only going to become a matter of time, which I'm surprised it has not already caught up to where, look at Call of Duty. You don't have to have a new one every year. You don't have to. We've got updates. There's things you can build in directly without having to launch something new every single year. And I think that's where it becomes, unless it's like a major changes, it's just unnecessary. Just do the updates and treat it like a live service. Again, I haven't really played.
That's if they go that route with Call of Duties. But I mean, come on. But like, I mean, like
they are absolutely going that route. They already said there's not going to be a new one next year.
Oh, they did?
Yes. No. There is not going to be a new one next year. They have already made that decision.
Okay,
yes.
So, but are they still using 3 different studios to cycle through to make a new Call of Duty games?
I know that multiple of the studios had their hands on this. And again, I don't know if that's because each one would bring out their own essentially. Yeah, it seems like and it's hard because this is obviously only speculation, but it seems like they're having them work more cooperatively to bring those elements at a less frequent timetable for dropping them, which I think is going to which is going to be huge. Yeah,
because Warzone is basically the thing that people are buying or not buying because
you don't even have to.
It's free, but like to get the Call of Duty, to justify the reason getting a Call of Duty, you're wanting to get the additional content for it, which makes sense why they would want to slow it down. But yeah, in that situation, yeah, I mean, like I said, but certain games definitely calls for that kind of, like, I think a digital, it's like it doesn't matter if you get digital or physical or not, because that game is going to be like for instance, I don't understand why you would need to get a physical copy of a sports game. Doesn't make any sense to me on why you would ever want to get a physical copy of a sports game.
Driving games.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, NBA Live 97. I wish I had a copy of NBA Live 97.
That's really specific. but I'm just saying that, like,
I'm sorry, 2007, not. I'm sorry,
I was
not
like,
97,
not
not 97.
old. I might have it in a box in Adam's trunk. So,
but like, I'm just saying that overall, though, like, for instance, do you know the collector's edition of God of War Ragnarok? Mm-hmm. You get all that stuff. You even get a steelbook for God of War Ragnarok, but they don't give you a physical copy of the game. Right? It's a digital code, which is really weird to me. Like, it's like, okay, so you're spending, and I mean that box set is like $230 to $300, and you're not getting a physical copy of the game still. It's really amazing to me that they're like, that's how they're going to package it up.
But I mean, they're I feel like that's way more transparent than pretending like, hey, this is worth this much. Really, you're paying for all the extra shit that you get with it. Yeah, I know. You can still give me the steelbook. You still have the steelbook with it. I don't need anything in the steelbook. I just got the cool ass steelbook. You know what I mean? But here's your digital code to play the game. It's already there, my friend.
If you're still going to give a steelbook to a person, you're going to expect a CD with it. That's just
Davis.
Weird.
Did they sell out? Did they sell out?
Huh?
Did they sell out?
Did they?
Or how much? I don't know.
don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't know either. I'm
I'm not
asking
sure.
legitimately because I guarantee
I know.
there's enough people that still paid for that shit without
sure
a
they
physical disc, and they might have said things on Twitter or whatever. But you know what? They gave them ducats.
Yeah, it's very funny if they did. I mean, but it's really funny to me that with this. But yeah, you know what? Like I said, I think there's a place for like certain situations do call for physical. There's certain situations that call for digital, and to my mind, there's I think there's space for both, but they have to be very strategic when it comes to that kind of thing. Is what I'm saying, because like I think because I have digital and physical games. In physical games itself. Hell, look at my back wall here. It's from like classic games that I've had that I have, which I'm probably gonna get rid of all my DS stuff because I don't need it. But other than that, it's just saddening to see the era to disappear to full digital, which is odd to me because like the PlayStation 5, the most selling PS5 is the disc version PS5.
Yeah.
You know, so
I get
it's
it.
just like, oh my god, it's like,
You want to know why? Because I can play Blu-rays on it.
Previous games.
I can play Blu-rays on it.
Can you tell me the last time that you bought what was the last Blu-ray that you bought?
I know,
like,
I haven't. I know, everything I get
tell you.
digitally. I really don't need it. I don't need it, and I paid the extra for it just in case. Cause I'm that guy. But you know what?
Jesus.
Everything I get is, and again too, like
digital.
if you can just have like that's why like I have
Yeah.
Plex, I can have all my things on there. You know what I mean? Like I technically did not need it. I think there was other things other than the physical disc part that was better than the digital, and that to me was the reason to get it alone. And in case, because I do still have DVDs, I still have a shit ton of DVDs. So if I wanted to do some old school, you know, whatever, exactly, I have the ability to still do that via my PlayStation. So
I'm in a newer area of town, and so we do lose internet, and when we do, it's for like a while. And if I learned that we had a blackout for like 2 weeks in my area of no internet, I was losing my goddamn mind. And then I realized, girl, you have DVDs. What are you doing? Just so I could have background noise while I played my Game Boy, because I was losing it after like 3 days. I was like, I can't do my daily routine. But I bought all of the Tales from the Crypts. I found them in the bargain bin at Walmart. I got the whole collection, and I think I paid like $5 for it. I got all of them. I love it. And people borrow those DVDs from me at least twice a year. At least twice a year, people borrow them. They're like, where did you find the Tales from the Crypt? I'm like, dude, bargain bin at Walmart. Go through that sucker. You'll find some good stuff. And that, you know, when our internet goes out at like 3 a.m. and I'm not feeling good and I'm up, I put on the Labyrinth. It's permanently in my PlayStation. I just click over, bam, it's on. You know?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's very true.
But I keep a good array, and I've told myself, unless it's something I can't find digitally, I will not purchase it. You know, for a physical copy, unless
the only DVDs that I have is my old anime collection I had when I was growing up in high school. Like I have literally a bookshelf of old school anime DVDs. Like
nice.
I'm looking at it right now,
dude. So like, I've got laser discs. I have a laser disc player.
So do I.
To the yeah.
I have a laser disc player too.
I got a VHS right next to me.
Same.
It's
absolutely.
Like it's carbon dating you, man.
Well, my mother and father were in shows, and so was I as a kid, and so they have them on Laserdisc, and I play them. I have a little thing.
Man.
I'm in the process of digitizing most of that content.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
You should digitize the. Do you have Star Wars on Laserdisc?
I have to go back. Dude, it's like literally a box of Laserdisc.
You need to get Star Wars Episode 4 and digitize that, because that's the only one. That's the only Star Wars where Han shoots first.
Oh.
Yeah. So like
rare footage.
Yeah, it's just like they need to have. You need to make that digitized, because I would love to watch that. But yeah, so there you go.
recently a friend, they reached out to me, their mother passed away, and she was a good friend of mine for my childhood. He goes, my mother wants you to have all of her Disney VHS. And I said, please, because my mom threw them all away.
Those
I
Disney VHSs are
love
no joke, though.
Yo,
Like if
like
it's the
the
old
puffy
plans,
cases.
yeah, we have a
it's the
ton
old
of those.
clamshells. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like, those things are expensive now.
We
Is that
have,
what they're called?
dude, we have a
Yeah.
ton of those.
The shells,
She has
the
a whole
clamshells.
bookcase of them.
Yeah.
And my
Mhm.
mom threw all mine away.
No.
And she always said, because your mom threw them away, you get all of my Disney collection, including like my holiday limited edition like figurines, which mine are
Yeah.
from her. She gave them to me as presents. So I'm like, bring it on. I'm gonna have to get a new bookshelf because
That's
I'm
great.
gonna have a lot of them. I'm excited. I'm gonna display them.
Hold on, I
That's
want to go to
great.
chat real quick.
Yeah.
Juju was saying with digital, Zukara the Tall, with digital, you don't own the game. Just be aware. With physical, you also don't own the game. You just own a license to play it.
Correct.
In terms of that. So we never
I
really
believe they-
own the games, but I understand what you're saying.
But they are also working on that. They're trying to do like a legislation where would be the same as a physical copy. So that is being worked on. I don't know if it'll get passed, but just
Yeah.
Well,
And
okay,
I know
but
that he
if-
said that
if
he
they
went
do-
like, I'm not a go back and play. Once I've experienced the story, I'm good for the most part. I
But
won't
here's
go
the
back
thing,
and
though.
do unless there's like extra content you can get. But even then, I've already moved forward because there's so many freaking games. Like, who's got the time?
Well, the things and situations that I've always had an issue with is exactly like the whole BS that happened with Overwatch 2. Because remember what I was saying? Like they didn't give the people the choice on Overwatch 1. They instead shut down Overwatch 1, shifted everyone to OW2 because they were wanting to stop doing loot crates. And that was the reason why they were doing it was loot crates and stuff. If it's going to be something like that, then to stop that kind of thing, because I didn't want to. I remember I didn't even want to play Overwatch 2 at all.
I remember that.
like at all. I didn't even want it. Like, you know,
we forced him.
Yeah, it was they forced it on.
It was
me.
not
And,
forced.
like,
He said he would do it. He agreed
We
to it.
tied him up.
I did one.
Don't
One,
worry.
had-
and then that was
Yo,
good.
I
And
need
that was
to
done.
make sure we go back and clip that stream so we can hear how much fun Davis had, and then I'll
Please.
build a soundboard of him just having fun playing Overwatch 2. And anytime he has this conversation, we'll play this shit back. I'm gonna try to get
just
that
saying,
dunk one too.
I'm just saying, it's just like that's the first and last. That was like the first and the last time, with it. But still, it wasn't my choice that I wanted to play the second one. Anyways, it was already it was just automatically pushed to me. So that's what I'm saying. But like, yeah,
Good, dude. Because you didn't need to. Because it is a live service game that could not live on the infrastructure it was built on. It became way bigger than they were able to do things with, and they just there was no. But I understand what you're saying. That's kind of like Destiny moving from Destiny to Destiny 2, but Destiny 1 servers are at least still open, so you can still go back and play that game. Whereas Overwatch 1 is like it's almost like it never existed. And there's the Game Boy Color. Gosh damn. Nice.
Yeah.
I play this all the time. I'm gonna take it apart and put a light in here because I got old and now I'm like I can't see the screen. So
There's a place that actually removes the screens completely and changes it to an LED screen, and then they also boost the sound chip inside the old Game Boy Colors.
I know what
I can give you
want
that.
for Christmas.
I can give you that person's link. That's actually they do some pretty cool work. So
That is true, but they reference it.
What if they break
Yeah.
it though? Then I'm without my dude.
Hold on,
I mean,
Zukara. We can't bring that up. They did remove like the
They
first
did.
2 years, but you know I did like it was probably for the better. At least the first year. That first year was terrible. Literally, I am a lover of Destiny, and I had to walk away. I literally pounded my fist on the table and said, "I'm done with you, Bungie. You get no more of my money." And then I was gone for like a year and a half, and I came back. I was like, "Here's my money."
Folks, thank you for listening to episode number 155 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again next week, except for Smitty. Smitty's going to be out and about doing his Smitty things next week. So it's going to be me, Lex, and hope maybe a third seat, maybe someone new. We'll see. Another friend. We'll find out. But we will be back again next week. But if you did miss this episode, that is perfectly all right. We upload these in each and every episodes every Monday morning on all podcast services. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Ooh.
Hello, Mr. J.
Guys, thank you so much. And also be sure to go check out our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to check out the awesome content that we like to give and serve everybody. So once again, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.